Guys, welcome back to part 3. We are out at St Mellion on the back 9. We are trying to get Wilbur round to get his tour card, and we're trying to get him through it. So this is a bit of experience playing with James Ruth and Paul, my brother Paul. Let's see how we get on. Paul is at 2 over, Will is at 4 over, James is at 4 over. The cut line has moved to 3 over par, so we need some birdies on this sort of last 3 holes. Let's see how we get on. Right, James on the tee, par 5, 544 yards. This is pretty much green light for all 3 players here to pick up a birdie. James with driver. Just starting up the right hand side, just turning back. That's absolutely perfect. Again, the further right that you can keep your drive up here, the more chance you got opening up the green. Up the left hand side you got to hug those or go over the mounds for your second shot, which is a little bit harder. Will, like I said, Will at +4 as well. Needs a birdie, knows he needs a birdie after seeing the leaderboard. Driver for Will, it's perfect shape for him. Little draw up here. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Started it down just the right of centre, drawing it back to the left side there. Got it far enough to get past that corner. Paul also with driver. Just made a silly little double at the last, so probably feeling a little bit warmer than he was walking up the last. 2 over for Paul, just inside that cut line. Yeah, nice birdie. We just settle him in for the last 2 holes. Similar line to James, just started up the right hand side. Again, that's the right play for Paul up the right. Again, he might not get around that corner, so he needs to open that up as much as possible. 3 good drives, boys, well done. Let's make some birdies, shall we? 3 very good drives. Paul just a little bit further back. James probably 10-15 yards up, and Will probably 20 yards up on the left hand side there. 267 for Paul. It looks like his 3-wood or 2-wood, have you got?
Strong 3-wood.
Strong 3-wood.
I think if I can get it
pin looks middle.
The green, that would be a good result here.
Or maybe is that pin in the middle there, is it?
I don't know where that is. It
looks middle. I mean, you can't take a direct line to that pin because there is a bunker that hugs the sort of front left corner of the green. So you've got to be very accurate if you're running this up. It's alright if you're flying it all the way there, which these boys in front might be able to do. Paul to chase one up.
Oh, wow.
Just turned over on him up in the left hand side there.
I think. Didn't see it bounce.
Is that a little bit tricky up the left, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, Paul going with provisional. Same club. Provisional ball. So you might be able to find that first one, it's just in case. Better strike, still up the left hand side.
Good in the road.
Might hit a path there. Oh, there it is, bouncing away.
Off the bank,
off the bank, well. Down there. That first one might bounce down from there, it just depends how much they've grown it up. Great drive by James. He's got 255 flag going 3-wood. Should be able to throw it all the way there. Oh, such a good hit. Just turning over, it started on the flag and then just drew a little bit.
The left bunker.
He's calling it for getting the left bunker, so he's got a good chance of getting up and down from. Okay, Wilbur just up the left hand side. Like I said, if you're a little bit further back from here, and your left, you've not got a great deal of a view towards the pin, so Will's far enough up that he can see what's going on up by the green. What club have you got?
4-iron.
4-iron for Will. Trying to draw one in. Ball's below his feet a little bit, so he's going to have to work with the slope. Caught it a little bit clean, but that's going to be alright. That'll run up to the right hand side. That's a great shot, Will, seeing that. Very good.
Thanks.
Good eagle opportunity. Getting himself back in this game.
Hopefully.
Paul is just making his way up the bank, found his golf ball, his first ball, so he's got 2 bunkers to work with and then working his way up onto that green. So this is not an easy position, is it? This is
Yeah.
always a bit tricky when you're not taking advantage of the par 5s, isn't it?
Tricky when you snap up for your second.
Yeah, that is, yeah, not sure where that came from.
Right.
So ball below his feet, he's probably only got about 90, 100 yards?
96, I think.
96 yards, got his 54?
Got 52.
52 degree wedge. Ball's way below his feet, so he can put his ball position back there, lowering his legs. Just sort of duffed it out.
Go on then.
Where's that ended up?
Bunker.
It got in the bunker, did it? Front left bunker. So you just lowering your legs down there just to get to the bottom of the ball a little bit?
Just trying everything you can to get lower, really.
Get as low as you can and then give yourself a chance of making a decent strike.
Yep.
Okay, Paul's just found front left trap. Look how narrow this green is, very long green. Big run off over to the right hand side where Will's ended up. And James has got himself into the back corner of the green, so a pretty lengthy putt for James. For his but for an eagle, Paul coming out needs to get up and down here for his par. Opening the face up, 58 degrees. Yeah, got that out nice. He needs a bit of spin now. Just caught that little bit of there's a slight downslope just by that pin there where his second bounce kind of landed and then sort of scooted him on a little bit.
Put a spot on that, please, Paul.
Who's coming in?
I'll come in.
Okay, James coming up next. Looks pretty flat. It's just all about pace for this from now. Okay, an eagle putt. Heading now, got steady now, steady now, steady now. Got a little bit of meat on that bone for his birdie. Paul just putting a spot on his. Wilbur, if we look over here, we can see this big runoff where Wilbur played a great 4-iron. One of his best strikes of the day. And he's just scuttled through the back, which is a bit of a shame, but this part of the green just really runs away and down there. So Wilbur's got his 62 degree wedge, which is one he likes to use. Just playing it up, landing it on the green. Oh, again, just getting away from him. A little bit of meat on that as well. A little bit of meat, certainly. No gimme birdies here, is there? Right, Paul just lining himself up. I think he was just struggling a little bit with the read on this. I think he was hoping for a small read off Will's chip as it came up, but he didn't get that. I would say it's slightly uphill. Oh my word. That didn't go in. That didn't go in. Oh dear. Now you hear these boys chuckling to each other as they miss putts and thin shots. This wouldn't actually be the case at tour school, would it?
No,
but
I'd be laughing if you did that at tour school.
Because they are good mates and they do play quite a bit of golf together, the odd miss putt here and there is, well, probably very similar to you all that watch this. Quite funny to watch your mates miss putts.
Especially when they're 360.
So Paul, that's 2 par 5s that Paul has bogeyed, so he's not going to be a happy boy.
Well, you need Bryson length, isn't it?
Yeah, right, Wilbur just really needs to get this one in because he's got 2 tough holes to finish off. And he needs to pick one up. That cut line. Tracking, tracking. That is not in either. Oh dear. pressure is just building. I can sense it. You'd have to be out here to really get a sense of this, but it is building. James could do with just tidying this one up. Let's tie up with Paul at 3 over and on the cut line. In, walked it in. Nice confident stroke that, James. Well done.
Yeah, putting's feeling good.
Putting's feeling good?
Yeah.
So Paul, you're not feeling overly pumped at the moment after that bogey. Now you've moved to the cut line, which I think was a bit of a surprise to go double then bogey.
I'm glad the cut line's moved as well.
Well, the cut line did move, yeah, because you'd all be over the other line of it, wouldn't you? James, you feeling all right?
Yeah, feeling good. Slow start. Yeah, but no, been under par the last few holes.
On the cut line, but 2 really tricky holes coming in, isn't it?
Yep. Just need to get 2 good drives away, and then they become birdie chances.
Okay, boys, 17th hole. We've got 2 very strong par 4s coming in. One at 451, which is this one, and then 470.
Yeah.
So, Wilbur,
I'm in trouble.
You're keeping an eye on the leaderboard because you're hoping that cut line moves to 4, aren't you?
+4, yeah.
Jimbo?
Yep.
Driver?
Yep.
Okay. James can get a good drive away here. He should only leave himself probably a 9-iron in, as far as he hits it. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Just that little fade, starts it up the left of that tree and then just drifting back. There you go. Yeah, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Wilbur needs to be following that. Wilbur likes to shape it a little bit the other way.
No, I'm going to play for a fade here.
He's going fade. Feeling probably...
That's not out of my comfort zone.
Feeling a little bit down on himself after missing that birdie. Not getting up and down from that position there. Played a lovely 4-iron in. And driving it well there. That is up the right hand side. That is in there. Not sure we're going to see that down, but that should be okay. I would like to think that's okay.
I think that's in serious trouble.
We're going to hit a provisional just in case, but I actually think that's going to be alright. I think the golfing gods are with you, Wilbur.
Well, yeah, I tried it.
That was like I've got to the top of the swing and I've forgotten I'm hitting a cut, but I'm hitting a draw.
Right, let's regroup.
Paul needs to just steady in. Paul, you need to do. Thinking it.
I'll take 2 pars and run.
Yeah. Let's try and see if he can. I reckon a birdie's in him though. Yeah, great golf shot.
The tree.
Started it at the tree, over the top of the tree. It should draw down to that. There you go. That's spot on. Great golf shot that.
Yep.
Wilbur's coming back to play a provisional, I think. Keep your head, Wilbur. Keep your head. All right.
The head is there.
This is all about preparation.
No, we're not going to go for a fade to shot.
No?
No, I am. Give me a fade.
Going for a fade. Going over the tree, up to the left-hand edge of the tree. Trying to move it back. Yeah, that's perfect. That is a perfect ball.
Get a big bounce off the old side slope as well. Oh.
Seeing that down?
Yeah, miles up there.
Miles up there in the shadows. A little bit better that, Wilbur.
Yeah, a bit of a better strike.
So we all have a shape, don't we? So we all hit the ball a certain way because of our path, to face the path and things like that. In pressure situations like this, are you playing shots? Are you playing against your sort of norm, or are you trying to stick with what feels normal or natural for you?
I would say try and stick to as natural as possible. I'm lucky that both these holes to
Shape
finish are
for
both
you.
left to right.
Yeah.
I just hit a draw on 16, but I feel a lot more comfortable than what 3 years ago. I would not have attempted to hit a draw down 16 because it wasn't a shot that I felt comfortable with.
Okay, so Will going for what is an unnatural shape there for him. He's really having to work it. You can see it in his swing that he's having to really work that fade. Is that the right shot to pull out at this time?
No.
At tour school?
No.
For this
Don't get me wrong. You're all top elite players, okay, that can be able to shape the ball either way. But even at this level, in this environment, should it be that you stick to what you kind of know?
100%. He just said then it's what the hole suits. You should never play to what the hole suits. You should play to what you're most comfortable with. And you know, I see play a lot of golf with Will, and predominantly hits a draw.
Yeah.
You know, he should be hitting a shot there straight up the middle, playing for a sort of fairly straight but neutral shot.
Agree?
The right shot is the one you've stood over the ball, feel most comfortable with.
And that's a really good point. You know, they're not sort of dissing Will for what he's done there. It's just that they've kind of seen his natural swing for such a long time now of playing golf with him, that really in that environment they're just trying to share with him that going to his natural shape and sticking with that natural shape is the best thing to do, even at this elite level. So this is no different than you guys, you know. If you're on a tough golf course like St Mellion, or you're coming down the stretch of the club championships, or you're doing really well in your local sort of Saturday medal, you know, if you're a fader of the golf ball, if you start the ball 30 yards left of target and move back to the middle of the fairway, then stick with it. Go to a shot that you're feeling the most comfortable with. Remarkably, we are not only nowhere near the out of bounds, which is where that is over there. I think you've clipped a tree and got a bit lucky here, Will.
There's enough trees to hit, isn't there?
There is plenty of trees to hit. The boys thought you were a bit further right, so they were a bit surprised to see it where it is. Okay, how far have you got?
I don't know, I haven't pushed on it because I'm...
Okay, you're going to lay up, are you?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Like a little squeezy one. If I can get it 50 short, I get it 50 short.
You're just trying to get it as close to the green as you can, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Try and get up and down and then try and birdie the last.
Yeah. It's a tricky shot out there. It's just not come out very well at all. It's just kind of ended up just on the edge of the fairway. But it's away from the trees now, so at least you're going to have a shot in. How far you got?
174.
Good drive.
Slightly uphill.
Yeah, that pin's on the left side of the green, is it?
Yeah, I think it is front left.
Okay.
I'm going with 6 iron.
Six iron. There's a bit of wind here now. They can see that flag moving around. It's probably just off his left. Yeah, he's just started it just right at the flag and then moving it back.
Sit.
That's not a bad shot. It might, based on what I saw from previous shots, it might have just snuck through the back, but a pretty good shot.
Take it.
James, great drive. 142. Got pitch and wedge in hand. Again, wind off the left. Just going to hold it up against it, I think. Yeah, great golf shot. That's a good shot as well. That's really good. He's asking for it to go a bit. Just short and then kicked on forward nicely towards the pin. That should be pretty close, I would think.
That should be close, shouldn't it?
118 for Will. He's got a little gap wedge, which is his, what, 50?
50, yeah.
50 degree, 118, slightly uphill now towards that pin. Wind off his left-hand side. Coming out of that wet rough. Yeah, it's come out quite nicely. Didn't look like he got too much of a jumper out of that. Again, just short like James is and just hopping forward. That should be pretty good. A little uphill putt for him there to save his par. 2 good shots coming in there. Paul just on the left side. 3 good shots, really. Got a question for you. So, back in the trees there with Will, he didn't take a yardage from where he was. So he didn't know how far he wanted. He just wanted to smash it up there under the trees and get it into as close as he could to the green. With this pin being tucked in this position where you haven't really got a lot of green to work with, when you're out on tour or tour school or wherever, are you and your caddy, are you trying to get a yardage everywhere you go? Like, would you have got a yardage there to see where you wanted to lay up to where you want to end up?
If I couldn't reach the green, then I would either lay up to 90 or 115. That's my 2 yardages.
That's your 2 yardage. So you would be focusing on those. You wouldn't have just whacked it out of there, tried to just nudge it out. Would you have got? You would have got a yardage.
No, yeah, my strength would be 90 or 115. I'm not a great player from sort of 60 yards, especially with no green to work with.
Now, has that changed over the years? So what I mean is, like, you've been a pro now for a number of years. You've played at that level. You know, this is Will's first go.
Definitely.
Really.
When I was Will's age, I would have been playing maybe the Hollywood shot or trying to be very aggressive.
Yeah.
Whereas over time, yeah, I'm a lot more sort of sensible now in my course management.
A bit more detailed in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And are you the same, Paul?
I always try and get it as close as I can because I feel you need to be good from all the distances.
But if I was caddying for you there, you'd have been asking me for a yardage.
What, to the green?
To wherever?
Yeah, I would like to have had an idea of what was going on. But I think on this particular pin position where the green it's running down, you want to be coming in with over at least over 90 yards or 80 yards into this shot out of the fairway to get any sort of spin on this.
Yeah.
To get close. Will's hit a good shot there, but I think he's probably had to use the rough
slope a little bit. And I'm not. This is not a pop at Will. I'm just thinking that you take Will on 10 years.
Yeah.
He's probably, and he's, hopefully he's on tour by then, but he's probably going to be thinking of it slightly differently, isn't he?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
We need some birdies, boys. Well, we need a par out of Will, and then a birdie up the last for him to make that cut. That wind's picking up though, Will. You keeping an eye on that score? The leaderboard.
Could be going to +4.
You think it could? That wind, if that wind picks up and the weather comes in.
If it gets to +5, I might actually get in.
Okay, Paul, he's got this just off the left side.
Action.
Slightly uphill.
There's a bit of both this.
Yeah, left to right and right to left.
Is it a bit of a double breaker up here? Paul probably going pretty straight at it then.
Beauty.
Cool.
Just straighten and turn back.
Straighten out right at the end, isn't it?
Get rid of that.
Okay, Paul going to just tap in. And for all you back home watching, if it was match play, you wouldn't have this option to tap in. You would have to mark. Stroke play, you can decide to carry on and finish off. Wilbur's got his line on the right edge of the hole, so he's expecting a bit of a break. For his par. In. Well done. That's a clutch. That's a clutch putt, that, Wilbur.
Cheers.
That is a clutch putt. Okay, James for what would be a very nice birdie. I did say that if he could get it up to that sort of 9-9 area, he's in the green light zone for us to make a birdie. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, well done.
Good back-to-back putts there. And James brings himself back to +2, which is now nicely inside that cut line. Paul's still on the cut line at +3, and Wilbur's got to make a birdie. 18th hole. James feeling very confident after walking with 2 birdies.
Just got to be careful on this hole though, because it's a very, very, very strong par 4.
It is a very strong par 4. Natural fade for you. It's just perfect, isn't it? This tee shot
Hammer
sets
it
up
down the left
nicely.
and let it fade.
Yeah. Bunker just down the right here as well. You got to be careful with that. These boys should fly that. Jimbo up the right hand side, started it down the right half of the fairway and then just probably overcutting on that line.
It's fine.
He should be able to find it from there.
How is it?
Big man. You made 40?
Yeah.
Okay, Wilbur.
A tip for you: if you're a fader, play a fader's course for Q School. If you're a drawer, play a drawer's course.
Is that Will's tip of the day?
Yeah, I won't be coming to Malian again.
No. Okay, so what are you thinking up here, Will? You still going with the little fade?
Yeah.
Okay. Wilbur going with the fade, so he's teed up on the right side of this tee just to give himself a bit more space. Yeah, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. I think he was trying to prove a point there. Not going to see that down from here, but James has wandered over and it's absolutely fine. Good position there, Will. Had to go for it in some ways because he's got to make a birdie. Get it as close.
315 down there with not a lot of run. That's a big, big tee shot.
He's a big boy, isn't he?
He needs, because it's a tough
Lot of
second
wheat
shot with the
bits.
water.
Yeah.
I don't think Paul's going to be taking the same line.
No, I think Paul needs
Not
to be a little bit
intentionally.
further left of that. Again, Paul straightest ball flight as Paul got, so he's going to aim at that big, I would say that big tree in the distance there. Pine tree. Just turned it slightly, a little bit in the toe.
Okay there. Should stay in the fairway.
Yeah, just in the rough there. It's not an easy shot for him. He's got a long way to go with his second shot. Okay, Paul's ball has been located. He's got a nice lie, but my word, I mean, he's got, how far have you got here?
220, I think.
220 yards over the water to a back left pin, or certainly left of that water. The problem he's got is if he goes at it firm and goes through the back, there's a big sort of swale behind the pin, which is again thick rough. So not sure he's going to have much green to play with if he goes long. He could opt to go up the short right side and take the water out of play and keep it up the right, leaving himself lots of green to play with. What are you thinking?
It's just really difficult for me here because I'm going to end up hitting a club that's too much really, just to make sure I get enough carry on it. So I'm probably thinking back right edge corner, not even on the green here, because I don't think I can hold it on the green.
Yeah, and then try and then look to get up and down.
Yeah, it's the kind of position I'm in. I just can't. I could go at the pin, but it's not going to stop on the green. It's going to go over the back, and that's quite a tough.
Well, it is, and also you know, let's be honest, you're not in the middle of the fairway. You're out of the rough, which you know you miss hit it slightly, and you're swimming, and that's the end of it, isn't it?
I'm going to just hit this one out right and just try and chip and putt.
Yeah, I think that's the sensible play. So remember, he's on the cut line at 3 over. Yeah, he scooted that one actually up there really quite nicely. Where's that ended up? Through the back?
Probably through the back.
Probably through the back. Couldn't see that with the sunlight.
Back right, that's
back right. That's actually pretty good. You've now got a bit of green to work with. I think that was a sensible play. Just take the water out of play. Yeah. James's ball absolutely fine. Just a pace off the fairway there. 165. Got to go over that water, James.
Yeah, just in between 8 and 9. I'm going to hit 8 just to make sure I clear it, hopefully.
Yeah, okay. Not worried about the back behind the being long at all?
No, I've got a shot in play, so I'm going to take it on. There's a bit of a crowd there descending, so.
Is there, yeah.
Bit of a crowd pleaser.
A bit of a crowd pleaser for him. Yeah, he's beyond the cut line at +2, so he's in.
Come out a little bit heavy.
It did come out a bit heavy. But that's where Sevi put it. That's a great shot. Absolutely great shot. Perfect. Well played that. Sensible play. Probably your best drive of the day, Will.
Yeah, it was out the middle. Yeah.
It was out the middle. Nice little fade. Shut those boys up, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. How far have you got here?
157.
157. Going straight at it because you've got to make a birdie.
Yep.
And you've got 9-iron?
9-iron, yeah.
9-iron. Okay, let's see it then, Will. Straight at it, over the water. Such a good finishing hole. Proper stadium finish. People watching in the background. Oh, and that has gone straight at it. That is absolutely all over it.
That's miles long.
Is that? Where's that?
Hey, that's 30 long.
That's the adrenaline.
That's the adrenaline at all school.
That's the adrenaline.
There's a little bit of wind. I'm feeling it behind me. Oh dear. I think we need to have a little chat. Boys, he's just airmailed straight over the top of that flag and in the hay. But like, you just shouted out there, it's the adrenaline, but I feel it when I play this hole, just in general play, and there's people watching up on the top there, not that we're playing, you know, not playing in an event, let's say. I feel the adrenaline going on this hole.
Yeah, most definitely. You can see the crowd there behind the green. A little bit of draft helping, and he just looked like he just gave it a little bit extra. He said he was hitting a quiet 9, but he definitely hit that quite hard. As soon as it came off the face, Paul went, crikey, that's long.
Yeah.
There's a bit of wind. Did he know where the wind was? Is the question I'm going to ask.
Okay, but adrenaline, talk about adrenaline, you shouted it, but it definitely plays a factor, doesn't it? Especially in these types of big events, when your lifeline's on the line with it, you know, what you're going to earn the next year. Yeah, so surely that has to play a factor into the...
But it's a tough one to factor in because you've got water short, so...
But he didn't have a choice. He's got to go for it.
Yeah, got to make birdie.
He's got to make birdie, so he's got to go for that.
Yeah.
Does he go that club shorter and then bring water into play and completely throw himself out of it playing for an adrenaline shot?
Down the breeze, I would have given him a wedge. As far as Will hits it, only 142 to clear the water. He probably flies his wedge close to 150. Down the breeze, I think, you know, downhill slightly. I think
that's the question as well. Is the number he wanted there was what it is to clear the water, not necessarily what the pin is, because there's not much green to work with there anyway. So the focus of him here is to clear that water, you know,
the hole.
And that was the number. Whatever was clearing that was the club.
Okay, we have ball located. Wilbur, you are plugged there. You've definitely gone a little long. The boys thought you might have actually ended up in the thicker stuff at the back. but it flew in there, didn't it, at some pace, so you definitely got your yardage, maybe just that fraction
Slightly wrong, yeah.
wrong. Okay, Paul has ended up just on a slight downslope, but lots and lots of green to work with. But you're alright over here, you're quite happy where you've ended up off that tee shot? I think I would be.
Yeah, it's probably as good as I could do, really.
I mean, you've got obviously that ridge to deal with, you've got a bit of a ridge to go down towards the pin there, but I would be quite happy with where you've left this. What club have you got there? Pitching wedge?
52.
52, so playing for that little bit of downslope, taking loft off naturally as it sort of
But I've got it up
sets
and
himself
down
up.
this, so this is...
He needs up and down to get his card.
I'm feeling it, the pressure.
You feeling it?
Yeah, up and down to get
So
your
he's
card.
feeling it here. Needing to get up and down for your card to play on the Euro Pro Tour for next year.
Really great shot.
That is very good. Will be giving it a good old click with his fingers. That is never going to stay on that slope. That is amazing how it stayed there. But now he's got a very tricky putt to save his par and to get his card for next year. Wilbur's taken a little drop from his plugged ball over there.
Got to hold it.
This needs to go in. I got a feeling the crowd's going to go wild if it does. And just behind me is obviously water, but he's not thinking about that right now. He's thinking purely about holding this, because really his day's over if it doesn't go in.
Sorry.
Alright, Wilbur's put this 62-degree wedge. Just chop the legs off of it, and there it is. Wilbur's got a little busy year back in the pro shop this year. Hey. Okay, James down the hill. Great second shot, really well played. Again, he's got a couple of putts here. So he's still got 2 putts to make his card for the year.
Cut might come down.
The cut may change. Might go to 4.
But he
I'll finish that one off, chap.
you're going to finish that? So
Take your time.
James just going to tapping that in. Well done.
He's in.
James finishes at 2 over par and comfortably making your card for next year. Wilbur, where do you think Wilbur's head is right now? How are you feeling right now?
Looking forward to lunch.
Looking forward to lunch. Okay. Come on then, roll it in. Finish off in style, Wilbur. Up the hill. He's had a bit of a read from when his chip came down, if he was watching it. Off the right hand side. Up you come, up you come, up you come. Oh, it's another drop shot. So Wilbur finishes at +5. I'm not sure it's going to move that much to get to 5 with the old cut line, Will. Now Paul to finish off. This has to go to make his card for 2021 to join James in the travelling. I'm not sure they even do sponsors exemptions on this tour. I'm not sure how that works, so it needs to go. Oh, and it does, and it does. There is a very happy boy, and James is happy because you two are travelling together next year. Well done, boys. Well played.
Unlucky,
Very
mate.
good.
Next year.
Unlucky,
Caddy for the
Wilbur.
year.
Unlucky. Well, there we go, boys. James 2 over par.
Yep.
So comfortably made it in the end.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got off to a bit of a tough start there. Because do you think preparation is obviously key to that? I know that you expect your clubs to be in your boot most days, but
Yeah, running to the tee is not ideal. As you can see, I had a few loose right shots early on from warming up, which may not have happened had I had a range session
Yeah.
before I went out. But
what I loved about that though is that you didn't lose your head at all. Like, you stayed completely in the zone, completely focused. Whatever was going to happen was going to happen. Weren't trying to push too much. You just let the game sort of all unfold in front of you.
yeah, and you learn as you go on. You know, back in the day, I would have definitely lost the plot. I listened to an interesting interview with Lee Westwood recently.
Yeah.
You know, his success recently has come from sort of not caring on the golf course. He said, you know, he's
Yeah.
doing what he can off the golf course as much as he can to play well, but he's not caring on the golf course. Any bad mistakes beforehand, he might have just sort of lost his head a little bit. But yeah, I think that's the key, really.
Nicely secured. Paul, also holding that putt on the last. I mean, like, if I was to summarise your round there, I just think, I mean, we've talked about this a lot, but I think those par fives of what have kind of really eaten at you a little bit there. Obviously, yes, there was a double bogey thrown in there as well, but the par five, bogey and par fives is not the way to go, is it? You know, ultimately, if you're going to play on tour, you've got to keep up with the bigger boys over here. But to hold that putt on the last, secure that card for next year, it's obviously, it feels good.
Yeah, I didn't think I played that well today, and I'm not playing great at the moment, but I think the key is that if you're not playing well, you still got to get it round. And, and if you're playing tour, any sort of tour school, you know, if you go to European tour school, you've got 3 stages. You've got, I don't know how many rounds of golf that is. It's
14,
like 14 rounds of golf.
14 rounds, yeah.
You're going to have times in there where you're not going to be playing well.
Yeah,
you're going to have a few rounds, and you've got to. What you've got to do is get it round.
Manage your game.
You know, manage your game and get the least score you can out of that day, and then hope your better rounds get you through into the under par rounds. So it's difficult, and yeah.
And Will, so obviously not securing your card for next year, but you've learned a little bit, hopefully, from just playing. I mean, you've played enough with these boys now. I think the more you play with these guys, the more you learn is only a good thing for you.
I've definitely improved managing my way around the course, but like as I said earlier on, if you're not swinging it well, it's just like the course is like eating against you. It's just securing those pars, not making silly bogeys.
Absolutely right. So I wish you all the best for next week, which is when you're actually competing for your card.
Yeah.
And hopefully you will have learned a little bit something from this and taken something away from it.
Yeah, hit wedge instead of 9-iron.
Absolutely right.
I think as well, if you look at go back to the putt on the was it the first hole of the 10th hole, Will just went and tapped in his 1.5 footer and missed.
Yeah.
Didn't take care with it, and I think if he'd have held that, he'd have been in a different situation coming down the last, not having to chase birdie. He could have made a nice par. And I think that could have been the difference. So I think you've got to be careful of every shot all the way through tour school, every round of golf, that shot, careless shots that can be cleaned up, can make an effect on your result on the end. And that's where you've got to really be. That's something I think you take forward. You've got to, every shot counts, and if you focus on every shot, you're going to get your best outcome.
Every shot matters at the end of the day, doesn't it?
I could summarise that up pretty easily with all 3 of those guys. James, poor start. At the end of the day, not prepared. Left his golf clubs at the driving range where he works, so he's not prepared. He's come in a bit flustered. He's not really got himself warmed up, ready to go. He's got off to a poor start, and because of his experience, he's got it back and he's managed to keep his card. With Paul, I purely put it down to the fact that he just struggled a little bit because it's a long back 9 here. If he's not on his game, which Paul's not quite there at the moment, he loses out on that length, which then if he loses out on the par 5s, he's really, really struggling. And then for Will, when it comes to Will, at the end of the day, he's just made some really rookie errors. Playing golf with those guys is only going to help him moving forward. We wish him all the best, and I'm sure he will get through next week when he gets to tour school. But thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, and I look forward to catching up with you again soon.